Hi, and welcome back to the character modeling video where I'm using Officer Jenny. In this portion I'm going to be going over the clothing and the hair. The technique for clothing and hair is pretty much the same across the whole model, so I'll just show you some areas where certain techniques are important, and then I'll leave you to basically go out and extrapolate on those techniques yourself and work on your characters on your own, because the last video was 54 minutes long and I doubt many of you would want to watch 54 minutes of the same thing again. So without further ado, here it is. So the first technique that's important is edge loop creating, and then extrusion from that, and then also shaping. So here we want to create the skirt here, which is a good example for that. And so we'll create this, which will give us an edge close to this loop here, and then we're going to scale it up and just move it over. So yeah, okay, so it gives us plenty of room to work here. And I'm going to actually scale this one down too, just so we have even more room to work with here. And then you're going to make the actual skirt itself, you're going to select these faces, and I'm going to scale them flat, and then, why is this not going all the way? Okay. And then I'm going to just extrude them down into the skirt shape. And now I need to, because there's an edge loop here, that means there's going to be bending occurring when you animate, so you need to also include a loop here. Oh, I see, that's why. And then we can just manipulate the shape of the skirt a little bit. And there you go. So now we have the skirt, and this is an important technique basically for making anything like a skirt. Sleeves this can be useful for too, and like gloves. But particularly like coats and skirts, this isn't like the base of coats, the tails of the coat, or like the front. This is an important technique for that. Okay, so moving on. So next I want to create this little bubble here. That's just so simple. It's all just adding as an edge loop, and then you just pull it out. I'm going to do the same for the bottom, for the skirt. That's all it is. So you can see she's starting to take shape. So the next thing that we're going to need to add is the sleeves. The sleeves is slightly more straightforward than the skirt, but still kind of the same idea. Is you're going to, for the sleeves, we're not going to extrude down, we're just going to extrude outwards, or move the shape of the sleeve outwards. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to just adjust it, and then we're going to add another loop so super close to that one. Almost exactly on top of it, and then we're going to just scale it outward. And so you can see now we've created the cuff of her shirt, and we're going to just add another one in. We're going to put it close again so that we have the same shape, and then just move it outwards. And see, this is why in the last video I was saying we should avoid adding more geometry than we need to, because you can see here now we need to move it. Same thing, just very close. And this one, because it's a cuff and it rolls up, I'm going to actually move it inside so we have a little bit of depth here when we look at it. And I'm going to actually make this a little bit tighter to her arm because I think that would be a little bit more attractive. And then to create these, like this rippley effect, all you gotta do is just add another loop in here, and just maybe scale it down, or move it a little bit, and then you just manipulate the edge loops you already have to create what you need to, the effect you need to get. So it seems over here, it seems like her sleeve actually comes down closer to her elbow, so we're just gonna adjust that. And we'll just scale this down a little bit. And you can still modify the body, I just prefer to have the body all done before I start to work on clothing, because then you have a solid base that you know is pretty accurate already. Okay. So that seems pretty good. So you'd use that same technique with the sleeves as with the gloves. And if you wanted to add a bit of a lip around the edge of the shoe here. For this you wouldn't, for this specific model, I'm not going to model these buttoned pockets, I'm not going to model this, and I'm not going to model a strap, but I will model this bag as a separate object. Let's start off with a cube. And we'll put that cube's location in the same position as the object, and then we'll go into edit mode. And then I'm gonna manually bevel the sides here. Okay. And then we're just going to merge these down. Actually, oh great, that's even easier. So you can just select the edge loop and then hit delete edge loop. Make sure you only select the edges or the vertices you need to remove. Okay, I'm gonna make this a face, and this one a face. Oh, I see. Somehow my beveling has gotten screwed up. So we'll just use the cut tool to fix this. And then we'll go into vertex mode and just line this up really quick. Simple enough. And now we're gonna scale it to be about the size of this bag. So this bag is kind of tapered at the bottom. And the reason I beveled it was so that we wouldn't get super harsh edges. And it's got kind of a bulge in the middle. And since it's going to be resting on her hip, I'm going to make this side a little bit curved inwards and this side curved outwards. smooth shade that. Get the same material. Oops. And now let's rotate it to fit on her body. I still think it's maybe too thick. That's probably more accurate than this being shown at an angle. And so in this case, the bag I'm going to leave unattached to her body for now, because depending on how we want to animate it, a thing like a bag like this could have its own bones so that it can sway and like jiggle when she's like running or something. And if you attach it to the body, you want to still make it a part of the same mesh. In this case we don't, because we don't have it mirrored yet. But you want to still make it part of the same mesh, but you don't want to actually attach the vertices to the mesh yet, because if we do want to make this like flop, say we want to make it go like this while she's running, like bobble, you wouldn't be able to do that if it's attached. So we would just put a bone here, and then make it rotate. Better than that, but you get the idea. So for things like bags, you don't want to actually attach the model, those will stay separate. But for the rest of the clothes, pretty much you want to actually attach it and model it into the character. So, and then basically the rest of the model is just extruding from what you already have. You want to make the hat, probably want to make the hat, in this case, separate, similar to the way we did the bag. And then you would just apply the texture the same way that you apply the textures for any of the Pokemon. So yep, I hope that was helpful. If anybody has any questions, I didn't want to make this video super long like the last one, but if anybody has any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Okay, bye.